Hello everyone. Today I am going to do a video on fainting, or passing out, or whatever you want to call it. It's happened to me twice, as far as I can remember. Pretty sure it's only happened twice. I may have had minor passing out incidences in the past, but there's definitely two predominant ones that stick out in my memory. One of these One of these fainting occurrences actually caused me to get a scar. I mentioned this in a video I did years ago called 5 Facts. I'm not sure if you can see it. No, you can't really. It's faded quite a lot over the years. But at the time it was quite bad, really. I passed out on concrete and smashed my chin open. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about that now. Because it was pretty interesting. The things I heard, and just the things I experienced. It was more the sense I got whilst I was passed out that was strange. So yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, so I was out with my friends, and it was probably 2004, 2005, somewhere around that time. And it was winter time. I remember that because it was really bloody cold out. That sticks out in my memory a lot, actually. And I had a friend called Paul who was standing next to me. It was all just chilling in this like playground kind of area, concrete floor, all just chilling, chatting. And like I said, there was my friend Paul, and he was standing next to me. And on his mobile phone, he had this gruesome video. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about this. I can't remember the specific details, but basically, someone was captured, held for ransom, and then when the ransom wasn't met, his head was sawn off on camera, and then these criminals slash murderers slash terrorists, whatever you want to call them, uploaded the video to the internet or sent the video to the authorities or whatever. Somehow the video got leaked. Anyway, what really matters here is that it was a video of someone getting their head sawn off, and it was real, and it was horrible. And Paul showed me this, and it just throbbed me out big time. I'm very sensitive to things like that. Very sensitive. Some may call me squeamish to a certain extent. Yeah, I don't respond well to violence. And he showed me this video, and it was like, before I even knew what I was seeing, I'd seen it. Do you know what I mean? So I really connected with the energy of the video. I connected with the fear that the person was obviously going through before they had their head sawn off. I connected with the anger of the people that actually did the act. And yeah, like I said, I guess I just generally connected with the energy of the video, which wasn't a very nice one. And so my head started spinning. I started walking away, and I remember feeling a bit imbalanced as I was walking away. And Paul just followed me, saying, "No, Reese, carry on watching it, carry on watching it, carry on watching it," kind of taunting me a little bit. And I was just like, "No, Paul, please, please, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone." And that's obviously when I fainted. I don't actually have a conscious recollection of fainting. But I'm presuming that is the point when I did. According to my friend Kane that was also there, I literally went from vertical to horizontal. I didn't like drop to my knees and fall. It wasn't some sort of gradual process, it was just clonk. And obviously I landed flat bang on my chin, which was actually quite lucky in a way, because I could have smashed my teeth out, could have broken my nose, could have smashed my face up. But luckily enough, I just landed on my chin, and actually just below the viewable bit of my chin, and it was just under here. So for aesthetic reasons, that was quite a good thing. The scar isn't really noticeable unless I lift up my chin like that. Anyway, what did I experience whilst I was passed out? Because that's the real meat of the story. Well, it was complete and utter ego death for a moment. I didn't know who I was, where I was, what had just happened, and I would definitely compare it to a salvia trip. at least some salvia trips I've had. The ego death was pretty intense while it lasted, but it was very short-lived, because the next thing I know, I'm coming to. However, the interesting thing is that I'm not coming to back into reality, as it were. I'm coming to in my mind. Do you know what I mean? It was like I started becoming conscious again, but I was still passed out. So I was becoming conscious within the inner realms of myself, I guess. And the next thing I know, this being approaches me within my mind and tells me, you know, everything's okay, everything's alright. And it just starts preparing me to re-enter the body. I don't know where I went, I don't know where I was. You know, my rational thinking mind obviously says the inner realms of myself, but who knows really? Who knows where I went? Well, either way, this being seemed to know, because it had a very definite procedure in regards to how to get me back into the body and get me fully conscious again. The next thing I know, my eyes flicker open and I'm surrounded by my friends. Obviously, they're concerned, they're shocked, you know. I've just passed out. And they obviously can see my injury, so they're all really fussing over me, seeing if I'm okay. And it's weird because I then once again experienced a minor form of ego death, although this time it was more memory loss, I suppose. Yeah, it's weird how it all happened, because it was like I was conscious, then I passed out and had complete ego death, then I kind of reawakened within my mind's eye, as it were, and then I became fully conscious again, but had complete memory loss. So at this point, I didn't remember the being, I didn't remember passing out, I didn't remember the ego death, I didn't remember anything. And all I remember saying to my friends, because they were saying, are you okay, are you okay? And I remember just saying to them, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just chilling out, I just needed to sit down for a bit. And that felt like the truth, you know, at the time, that in my rational thinking mind, that really did feel like what had happened. No, I'm fine, I'm just chilling, I'm just taking a breather, I'm just sitting down, I'm just relaxing. And obviously they could see that that wasn't the case, because my chin was busted open and I was bleeding everywhere. So, you know, they were like, no, Reese, you're not okay, you're not okay. And they were picking me up. And then I remember just passing in and out of consciousness over and over again. In, out, and it was the most bizarre feeling I've ever experienced. It was like I had my feet in both realms. I had one foot in the third dimension and my other foot in God knows where. And it was like I couldn't decide if I was going to come back or not, and I was just flickering back and forth. It was just so weird, and I can't even begin to describe just how bizarre it was, really. Then the rest of the story is pretty standard. I went to the hospital, I got stitches. I felt no pain for hours and hours and hours, until very later on in the early hours of the morning, when the pain just suddenly hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was in excruciating agony. I was actually screaming out at one point. It was just so painful, unbelievably so. This whole experience only became cohesive, it only kind of had a chronological order a few days later, like in hindsight. For a couple of days it was all just a blur what had happened, you know, and then slowly but surely the pieces started coming back together, and I started thinking, oh yeah, there was that ego death, and oh yeah, there was that being that kind of helped me re-merge with my body, and like I said, the pieces started slotting back together, and yeah.